Well, I've been violently awoken. This whole Berkeley riots thing is aggravating. However, I felt a deep need to talk about it for the past few days. I wanted to talk about something that came to mind after I watched a few clips of the riot. I suppose it was more of a brawl. As a quick overview of the happenings, there was a free speech / Trump rally that was interrupted by Antifa. A large fight ensued. Okay, we know that Berkeley has had its past problem with Antifa using unnecessary violence, where the police also did nothing. Antifa is also behind the whole punch and Nazi thing. So this break-off of the left has decided it's a-okay to assault people who disagree with their political ideologies. Bonus points if they can be attributed to being a Nazi. Well, I don't know what to call them other than the Trump rally guys, but the Trump ralliers responded to the violence of Antifa with equal violence. I think Jordan Peterson said something along the lines of, if you don't talk to the other side, then you fight. Well, it's happening. Are those on the right hypocrites for meeting violence with more violence and ideological disagreements? Obviously, those who condemned Antifa earlier and then praised the Trump rally guys for violence now are hypocrites. I don't know how many of these there are, as most articles about Berkeley today are about Ann Coulter, and they only mention the brawl in passing. I do not condone violence, especially over ideological disagreements. However, I may be a hypocrite. This is what I thought about and really stuck with me. I realized that if I lived near my alma mater and the same event was happening, I think I'd be on the pro-free speech side. Now, you may have interpreted that as I said it, or that I'm a neo-Nazi white nationalist Trump voter, which I'm not. Either way, I realized that if there'd been violence at these events before, I think I would have gone prepared. I would have definitely worn my lacrosse helmet. Yes, I could argue I did it to protect myself from a sucker punch or some glass bottles being thrown around, but let's face it, if I saw a black bloc making its way toward us, my adrenaline would have started pumping. My knees would have started shaking a bit, and I would have started to sweat for no reason. I'd be itching for a fight. A masked, black-clad, chanting mob was moving toward us, begging for violence to break out. Perhaps I would have obliged. Maybe I would try to hold off violence between our two groups for as long as possible, but I could see myself in the footage of the Berkeley brawl. Not literally, I mean figuratively. The difference between the Trump rally guys swinging at Antifa members and myself is that I wasn't there. I just said I don't condone violence, yet I'm convinced that had I been at this rally, I would have fought. Nay, I would have prepared to fight before I even showed up. That's some sort of unacted hypocrisy or doublethink or something. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I'm very stuck on this question. There's no way to answer it because I wasn't there. I could just totally see myself there. That has to mean something, right? What's your interpretation of my little inner conflict? So of course I wanted to touch on how an article I read about the free speech / Trump rally painted the rally as precisely what never-Trumpers presume and hate. This article from Mother Jones, a very obviously left-leaning website, basically talks about all, mind the quote marks, the people at this rally. Fortunately, there are a number of varied quotes from a few people in the rally, giving the piece a bit of individuality. Although some of these quotes included fake news. However, there are neo-Nazis, Muslim band supporters, and Trump sycophants at this rally, as well as memes. Lots of memes. Sargon points out how there were probably like 4 neo-Nazis. That's just speculation, and I wonder the actual number. But from a number of pictures, it's not obvious that this rally was just riddled with them. What I'm more curious about, though, is at this pro-free speech rally, were there real conversations? I mean, were people talking about actual political issues amongst each other? Were people seeing new perspectives? Perhaps some were learning things they hadn't known before. Perhaps those neo-Nazis and white nationalists found a bit of resistance when talking about their ideas. Perhaps there was actual conversation. It definitely seems that there was more potential for conversation at this rally versus at Antifa's rally, but I'm just speculating. Though I'd be curious to hear from people who actually attended the rally, let's face it, my speculations are a little optimistic in today's socio-political climate. I think this attitude is why I'd probably show up at the free speech rally, if not just out of curiosity. Anyway, the Mother Jones article is much more brief when talking about Antifa, referring to them as left-wing and people dressed in black. Contrast this with descriptions of the Trump rally guys. Open quote. Soon, roughly 100 Trump supporters, members of the alt-right, Proud Boys, militiamen, and neo-Nazis swagger into downtown Berkeley. Close quote. Curious. I also found an extremely brief article that called the ralliers honorable, genuine American heroes, while stereotyping Antifa as a bunch of marijuana-smoking, left-leaning scum. Bias is really obnoxious. It seems that pretty much anyone can post anything on this website, from what I can tell. The first article showed a bit of the rally's happenings pre-violence, but focused on the ideological extremists because that's what the monolithic left wants to hear about the monolithic right. Ooh, scary. Come on, there was so much potential that was just wasted. So thanks, Shane Bauer, for the biased insider look. The second article is just intellectually lazy. It's almost insulting to anyone actually trying to read about the brawl. Though it seems to only be footage of after the fighting broke out, at least he included videos that show the level of violence at Berkeley. So thanks, The Real Fly, for providing some footage to me as well as a few useless, generalizing throwaway sentences. Well, it's only gonna continue to get worse from here, I imagine. We have tipped into agreed upon violence, a war if you will, a mutual destruction of each other. Until what? I don't know. I'd say the answer is actual conversation without demonizing each other, but the socio-political debate has escalated far past that point. Sorry to end on such a low note.